2023, there was an issue with my grandparents' restaurant. There was an issue, so there was a ladder that was placed onto a platform to the ladder to the roof. And granted, this ladder is at least 50, 60, maybe even 70 feet high. And it's a very, very tall ladder. My grandpa climbs above the ladder. He tells me, "Hey, climb above the ladder." And I said no, because I was too afraid. "Just wait down here." And eventually a few people passed by and told me, "Hey bro, just climb a little bit." So I climbed a little bit and they say, "Hey, yeah bro, you're doing it." And then, because I was so bored just staying down there, doing absolutely nothing except pondering around, I actually climbed the ladder. So I climbed the ladder replaced to the ladder that goes directly to the rooftops. So I'm climbing the ceiling climbing the ladder, the very, very tall one. Then there's a panel which I'd have to unlock in order to keep climbing straight up. But instead, I climbed on the back of the ladder where there was no box or anything blocking it. And I looked down because I was very high up by now. And I see a box and practically a couple of sharp objects just lying around. So if I fall from this height, I'm done for. So I grab on as tight as I can onto the ladders and I keep climbing. Then I go back to the other room and then I'm almost there. I'm literally like at the top. But then there was a platform. There was a platform, and had it not been for my grip, I would have fell back and literally just plummeted all the way down to my death. So with every bit of strength I mustered, I grabbed the platform, the weird railing type of patterns on the platform, and I just held on, and I had to literally hold on for my life. So I just there, and I climbed myself over, and I just throw myself over. And I do not even look back. I do not even look down because it is so, so, so scary. Now, I want you to learn something from this. So let's talk about death. Why is everybody so afraid of death? Because everybody wants to live. Everybody wants to live happily ever after. They want to live their 70, 80, 90 years they have on this earth. They just want to stay alive. Even if their life is horrible. They just want to stay alive. Stay alive and stay alive and stay alive and stay alive. And they're so scared of death. And another reason that they're so scared of death is because they fear life. They fear life. They hate life. So they fear death. They fear death. Granted, many, 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 many people fear death. It's one of the scariest things and one of the most biggest fears among many, many, many humans and people. Being afraid of death. Because deep down, all of us living on this earth, we will eventually leave. We will eventually pass away. So many people are afraid because their life is not worth living. They didn't have anything good in their life. Hence, they're so afraid to just die because they didn't do anything in their life. They didn't do anything in their life. So if they died right now, they would feel horrible. Absolutely horrible if they just died in an instant. Death is actually something that is a very philosophical side of it, but here's the thing. Here's the thing and why being afraid of death sucks. If you're afraid of death, you cannot live life fully and richly. Because when you're afraid of death, you're afraid of living. Many things you do out through this life, there's probably a high risk you die. There's probably a high risk you die. Whether it be kayaking and you might drown, whether it be climbing a mountain, you might fall and tumble to your death, whether it be skiing, you fall off and you tumble to your death, you skateboard, you fall and your head cracks open. You're swimming, a shark comes out of nowhere. A car crash. Old age. There's many things and things that will risk your life. But this is part of being human. The risk of death is part of being human. It's what makes life so fun, so invigorating to live day after day after day. Having the risk that you might die. Because you never know, you might die the next day. You might die tomorrow. You might die in an hour, 30 minutes. But it's what makes life so invigorating and so philosophical. So the majority of TikTok people are probably gone by now. And they're so fearful. But what's even worse is their attention span is literally 10 seconds. 10 seconds. It's no wonder the screen time is 8 hours. Their attention span is scroll. Because their dopamine's too fried. So maybe 2 or 3% of people who clicked on this video will even remain watching this. So here's why you shouldn't fear death at all. Screw that. You shouldn't fear death at all because death is just a natural occurrence to all living humans. All living humans, death is a natural occurrence. Death is a natural occurrence. And when it comes to learning things, there's going to be many instances where you could die. But you must be willing to take the risk and not look back. And don't fear whether you're going to die or not, because yes, your life is on the line, but if you don't take that risk, you never will. And that's why you'll never progress. Because death is something that's just gonna happen, whether you like it or not. So stop complaining and stop whining. Hope you've learned something today. Remember to like and subscribe. Other than that, welcome to the Brotherhood.